Imagine going from being the best footballer in the world to ending up in a prison cell in a different country. These are the stories of 10 footballers who lost everything. First up is Brazil's Samba King, who lost his crown and ended up behind bars. In the mid-2000s, Ronaldinho was considered the king of football. He had it all, scoring goals, making assists, showing crazy skills, and even being the first to hit 1 million views on YouTube in 2005. Ronaldinho's career peaked when he won the Ballon d'Or and was officially recognized as the best player globally. However, things took a turn for the worse. Ronaldinho loved to drink and party excessively. Despite his talent, the Barcelona board had enough and did not renew his contract. He then joined AC Milan on a free transfer, hoping to revive his career. Unfortunately, Ronaldinho's addictions worsened after retirement in 2012. He realized he had spent almost all his fortune on alcohol and parties, accumulating debts of over $1.5 million. When the courts discovered this, they seized his international passports and mortgaged his house. Desperate to escape, Ronaldinho attempted to enter Paraguay with a fake passport, but was caught. He served time in juvenile detention and emerged a changed man. Ronaldinho's story is a cautionary tale of how he lost control towards the end of his career. He's not the only Brazilian footballer who had everything and fell off. This next dude just couldn't stop. Ronaldo Nazario R9 was incredible when he was at his best. To show you how good he was, he won the Ballon d'Or before he even turned 20. R9 was one of the most feared football players in the world, playing for clubs like Barcelona and Inter Milan. But it was at Madrid that things started to go wrong for Ronaldo Nazario. He began earning so much money that he started to focus more on partying and living a lavish lifestyle than on playing the game. Madrid didn't want to pay him just for partying instead of scoring goals, so they let him leave for free. But this change only made things worse. Nazario's lifestyle became so unhealthy that he only spent a few months with the club. Pretty soon his body couldn't handle it anymore, even when he returned to Brazil. On the day of his final match for the national team, Nazario's went from being a fit, world-class player to looking completely out of shape. If only he had stayed in good shape, he would have had no excuse. But for Josip Ilicic, falling was something personal. In 2019-20, Josip was on fire, scoring 4 goals in a Champions League knockout game and helping Atlanta push up in the Italian CA. It seemed for a long time that this was going to be his peak season until Ilicic came across the one person he simply couldn't beat. That season, himself. See, Ilicic was battling a lot of things. First, he had lymphantes, a condition where the lymph nodes in his neck got swollen. And even worse, there were rumors of Ilicic's wife cheating on him, which made him enter a mental breakdown. All of this combined made Ilicic reach a mutual agreement with Atlanta to terminate his contract, and for over a year, he was out of the game. Ilicic decided to return to his native Maribor in Sylvania, and while he continues to play the game. Now it's safe to say after that whole episode, Ilicic's career would never remain the same again. On the plus side, Ilicic, probably SA, saved enough money to get by during the period he was away from the game. Unfortunately, we can't say the same for Lee Henry. During his playing career, Henry played for some good clubs in the Premier League and scored great goals like this one. However, off the field, the only thing that was troubling about Henry's life was his finances. Henry went through a tough time with his wife Emma, which ended in divorce. This situation left him bankrupt. It was so overwhelming for Henry that he even tried to take his own life because he couldn't bear the idea of losing everything. Divorce can really take a toll on some of the experienced players in the game, like Lee Henry. First and even, David James, back in the day, was a respected goalkeeper. He was known for his skills and his wild hairstyles. James played for big clubs like Liverpool, Manchester City, and Portsmouth. However, in 2014, England's starting goalkeeper from the 2006 World Cup faced financial troubles. He was declared bankrupt after a messy divorce with his ex-wife Tanya, which caused him to lose $3 million. Things were so tough for James that he had to auction off some of his jerseys and other items from his matches just to make ends meet. That's a tough situation, but the next person's story is even more extreme, owing an entire country. Diego Armando Maradona is a legendary figure in football. During his playing days, Maradona was like a god. especially in Argentina, where he was worshipped like a religion. However, in Italy, where he also played, the fan love wasn't as strong. The tax office there didn't care about his fame, they just wanted him to pay his taxes. Maradona faced a huge tax bill of over $53 million, which he claimed he didn't know about. He blamed the government officials for not informing him earlier. To settle the debt, Maradona had to give up some valuable items. Italian authorities confiscated 2 Rolex watches worth $15,000 and 3 diamond earrings worth $6,000. After this incident, Maradona realized he needed to stay away from Italy to avoid losing more of his possessions. He decided not to travel there for a long time and stayed in Argentina to avoid further trouble with taxes. But this next guy became so broke that he couldn't even afford a plane ticket back home. When he signed for Manchester United, I really thought Eric Djemba was so good they named him twice. At the time, Djemba was expected to replace the legendary Roy Keane after Keane left United. However, things didn't go as planned. Djemba only stayed at United for 18 months. Despite being on a $75,000 per week contract, this should have been enough for him to start something and save up money. The problem was he didn't see it that way, at least that's what his agent thought. Reportedly, Djemba had over 30 bank accounts and tried to take out loans. On top of this, he went through a messy divorce in 2016 from his wife Rachel, and Djemba was declared bankrupt. For someone who was supposed to be the next Roy Keane, it's clear this didn't work out. The folks at Juventus must be familiar with this situation, as they signed him on a free transfer. Paul Pogba's story is disappointing because he's a talented player. He changed his hairstyle for every assist he made. In 2016, Manchester United paid a world record fee of $89 million to bring Pogba back from Juventus, but things didn't go as planned for either side. Eventually, Pogba returned to Juventus for free in the summer of 2022. He was supposed to restart his career at Juventus, but his list of injuries is unusually extensive. He even had injuries in unusual places like his buttocks. On top of that, there's an unresolved doping allegation that has been hanging over him for 2 to 4 years. It's sad because Pogba is an example of unrealized potential, but I don't think anyone fits this description more than Adriano. Imagine being so good at football that your shot power in a video game is rated 99. That was Adriano's reality. The excitement and expectations around him were huge because his coaches at both club and national levels believed he could become the next Ronaldo R9, or even better. Then a tragic incident occurred that not only ended his career, but also deeply affected his life. His father passed away. Adriano never recovered from losing his dad to him. His father meant everything, and losing him created a void that no one could fill. After this loss, Adriano struggled to stay in shape and fit for playing. He moved between various clubs around the world, and these days, Adriano's life has taken a sad turn from the potential of being a football legend to struggling with alcohol represented by beer bottles. Now it's time for the big reveal on the list, and this player needs no introduction. Eden Hazard. He was expected to be a major star at Real Madrid after becoming the club's record signing in 2019. Hazard seemed to have everything needed to succeed at the biggest club in the world, but he faced a tough opponent, his own diet. Hazard admitted that he arrived in Madrid overweight, and then injuries began to pile up. He spent 4 years at Madrid and scored just 4 league goals, averaging 1 goal per season. The situation was so challenging that Madrid's record signing didn't even get to play in El Clasico during his contract. Eventually, despite receiving offers from the Saudi Pro League and MLS, Hazard decided to retire from his career.